Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 12, National Football League, Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns, AFC North, family business. What happens in the family stays in the family. So, this is exactly why I said earlier this year when the Steelers were struggling and they seemed like they just couldn't get right that I won't count the Steelers out until mathematically they've been eliminated from playoff contention. This is why I couldn't count them out, because they're a dangerous team, and I love Mike Tomlin as a head coach. I feel like he's one of the better coaches in the National Football League, one of the better motivators in the National Football League. He has a pulse of his team and what needs to be done. A lot of people ridiculed him earlier in the season for taking away their recreational activities in the locker room. Maybe that needed to be done. He knows his team more than anyone else does, and he did what he thought he needed to do. And this team has been playing better football of late, not because he took away their recreational activities. That was 5 or 6 weeks ago. This football team is playing better because they believe. Because they have a coach that believes in them. They feel like they have enough guys in that locker room that can get it done. And eventually, they felt like if we just stay the course, continue to hack away at it, some breaks will go in our favor. We'll play better football. We'll start winning some games. Well, they've reached that point where some breaks are starting to go their way. They're starting to play some teams that they can handle, and they're winning some football games. Now, I'm not sold on this Pittsburgh Steelers team quite yet. Okay, anytime they play a really good football team, the results have remained the same. They have not won those games like they used to in the past, and they're not as good as they used to be in the past. But I tell you what, the running game is slowly but surely getting better. They're becoming more efficient running the football with Le'Veon Bell and a sprinkle of Jonathan Dwyer. This passing game is starting to pick up. A lot of that Todd Haley quick three-step drop nonsense is starting to go by the wayside. Yeah, they're still doing a lot of quick three-step drop passes, but a lot more passes are going down the field, which is a strength of Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers' offense. And it's good to see that they're starting to trust this offensive line to hold up so that Ben can push the ball down the field to Antonio Brown, to Emmanuel Sanders, and guys of the like, so that they can make some big plays in this offense and really push teams back, make them respect the speed of this Steelers offense. And then you can start running the football with Le'Veon Bell and a sprinkle of Jonathan Dwyer. These things go hand in hand. So the Steelers are starting to look more like the Steelers of old offensively. You get a little bit of Heath Miller. And don't discount him coming back to this lineup, him being that safety blanket for Ben Roethlisberger on 3rd and 4, and a guy that can block as well as go out and catch a pass and extend drives and pick up crucial third downs. His coming back to this lineup off that injury has also helped them along, but they're starting to get it offensively. And more importantly, this defense is starting to pick things up. They're starting to get pressure on the quarterback. They're starting to stop the run more consistently. And something that they had failed to do last year and early this season, they're starting to force turnovers. And that's something they lacked early in the season and even back to last year where they weren't forcing turnovers. Now they're starting to do that. That's a dangerous team in Pittsburgh. Let's talk a little bit about the Cleveland Browns. However, they were the home team here. They had a shot in this game early on. It was 3-3. They were hanging in. They were hanging tough. But again, when your quarterback is Jason Campbell, a.k.a. the caretaker Campbell, you know there's only going to be a matter of time before the other team takes off and leaves you, unless your special teams and defense are going to be special, essentially, because Jason Campbell isn't going to be special. I've already told you this time and time again, and I hated to just break the hearts of Browns fans everywhere that thought they actually had a shot, but I tried to warn you, me being a Redskins fan, I know Jason Campbell in and out, and I will be the first to tell you, he's not the man you're looking for. He's not going to take you anywhere that you couldn't have went with Brandon Weeden, which is nowhere. And so what Jason Campbell is going to do is he's going to come in, he's going to check the football down to the running back, he's going to check the football down to the running back, he's going to check the football down to the running back. Did I say he was going to check it down to the running back? Yeah, and he'll check it down to the fullback and the tight end as well, and he'll hit the receivers on crossing routes. That's about it. That's the extent of the Jason Campbell playbook. Check down, crosser, the occasional deep shot, check down, crosser. So after you get a steady diet of that, you look up and Jason Campbell is 14 of 20 for about 108 yards, which means he's completing way less than 10 yards per pop. It's not good. It's not a good look for your offense. And without a running game, old man Willis is back there. You're not scaring anybody with your running game. Chris Ogbonnaya, he's a solid cog in that machine, but again, he doesn't scare anyone either. The only thing you have out there right now that scares teams right now is Josh Gordon. And I think that Jordan Cameron should be a bigger part of this offense like he was earlier in the season, but no one's getting him the football. Josh Gordon is a playmaker. He has top-end speed. He has the size to scare defenders. You got Greg Little out there. You have Devon Best. You've got pieces offensively. It's frustrating because you don't have the quarterback to manipulate defenses and get the football to these playmakers and allow them to work. And so your end result is Josh Gordon catching 14 passes for over 200 yards, but you only scoring 11 points and being thoroughly dominated by the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. And what it all boils down to essentially for the Steelers in this game is the fact that they were able to get to your quarterbacks in this game. They had 5 sacks, something that the Steelers haven't done a lot this season, getting to the quarterback. They had 4 forced turnovers, and that's the biggest thing for the Steelers in this game is the fact that they were able to force the issue, force these Browns mistakes, and turn them into points. That's something that this Steelers team hasn't done in about a full 2 seasons, forcing turnovers. We know last year, no Troy Polamalu, this team was decimated by injuries, and they were getting older right in front of our face, and I still think to a certain extent they're still older. However, Polamalu is healthy. He's running around. He's starting to make plays. He forced 2 fumbles in this game, and they picked off a couple of passes. They took a couple of turnovers down the field, and this looked like a vintage Pittsburgh Steelers win. And if you're a Steelers fan, this had to be very refreshing to your eyes. I tell you what, after this victory, you're now in the 6th seed in the AFC playoffs, so that's a huge win for you. Now you've climbed all the way out of that hole that you dug yourself in essentially earlier this season. Now you got to continue to get better, and it seems like this team is doing that each and every single week, getting better, forcing pressure, starting to run the ball a little bit better, more offensive rhythm. This is a dangerous Steelers team. We know Antonio Brown is a menace on special teams as well, so you could get some things going if you're the Steelers. This is a dangerous team, and I warned people, even when they were struggling, don't count this Steelers team out. They're a dangerous group. They're a veteran group, and they understand what it takes to get it done. If I'm a team down the stretch, I don't want to play the Steelers, especially in Heinz Field. I don't want to play the Steelers. This is a dangerous group, and they're going to beat some teams. And if you're not careful, they'll sneak into the playoffs, and they'll do a little damage once they get there. I'm not saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl or even threaten to win a Super Bowl, but this is one of those teams that if they get into the tournament, all bets are off. Anything goes. They could be a scary team because Ben Roethlisberger has been there, done that, and they can get hot and do some things down the stretch. So, big win for the Steelers on the road. Family business. Took care of some family business that they frankly needed to take care of. If you want to make any kind of headway in the AFC, if you're the Steelers, you got to beat the Cleveland Browns. I don't care that it's family business. I don't care that this team knows you very well. You got to beat the Cleveland Browns, whether it's home or away. You got to take advantage of the Browns, beat them, and move on to the next one. That's what they did. If you're the Browns, tough loss. Again, you're not a good football team. You're missing that key ingredient, that key element that's going to put you over the top. Because I think you're talented defensively. I think you have a lot of good stuff offensively. You're just missing that one ingredient. And you know what it is. I don't have to tell you. I'll mention it anyway. It's the quarterback. You get that, and you get the right guy in the draft. I tell you what, this could be a dangerous Cleveland Browns team next season, depending on the impact that rookie quarterback has. But you're definitely going out and getting yourself a rookie quarterback next year. That is for certain. Hopefully you get the right one that fits your system and you're able to do some things. But this isn't going to be a winning formula for you this year without a quarterback. And so that's going to do it for this installment of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. That happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. I've got plenty more games to break down in week number 12 of the National Football League.